Hello, this is Pete, or Kenshin1913, along with
Mom.
And this is another Cooking with Kenshin1913. What are we making today?
We're going to make rice pudding.
Mm.
So we're going to make some rice pudding today. It's pretty simple. We have our rice, long grain rice. The one mistake people make is that you cannot use instant rice. You have to use regular rice. Now, some people also like their rice pudding with brown rice. So you can do that. The only thing, brown rice takes a little bit longer to cook. So we have our rice. We have our water in our pan for the stove. Butter, an egg, sugar, granulated sugar, milk, vanilla, and some salt. Mm-hmm. Now, we are adding a dash, which is like less than a quarter of a teaspoon of some ground cinnamon and a little bit of nutmeg. And golden raisins are optional.
Yep, that would be, well, I'll have all the...
yeah, and I've also seen some rice puddings that put dried cranberries in it. Right. So you really could, put different dried fruits to your pleasure.
Right, so we're going to put this is 1.5 cups of water. We're going to put that on the stove and get it to a boil.
Right, and we're going to have all of the exact ingredients on the website. Okay, so we have our water boiling, and now we're going to add our rice, and we're going to just give it a quick stir, and it's going to cook for 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to transfer our cooked rice into this other pan. Mm-hmm. Now you can also use a rice cooker. We have used a rice cooker in the past because my daughter likes making the rice pudding usually. Mm-hmm. So that works really well also. So you don't have to boil it. You can put it into your rice cooker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I enjoy rice pudding too. Now, one of the things you can do is when you're making rice pudding is obviously when it's all said and done, you can eat it warm, but I actually prefer it cold. But yeah, okay, so now we're going to add our sugar and our milk. Now at this point, this is just 1.5 cups of milk and 1/3 cup of sugar. And we're going to stir constantly, putting it back over on the heat.
And our salt.
And a touch of salt, yeah. It's 1/3 of a teaspoon, I think.
A quarter of a
teaspoon, I'm sorry. There we go. So now we're going to put that over the stove. We're going to let it cook while stirring constantly for about 15-20 minutes until it starts to get thick and creamy.
Okay, as you can see, this mixture is starting to get a little thicker, and that's because the rice is continuing to cook and the starch from the rice is thickening this to be like a pudding.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I was going to talk about too with rice pudding is that we used to buy it in the store, and we were like, originally rice pudding, I was like, ugh, rice pudding. But then we bought it in the store and had some, and I was like, this isn't too bad. And that's honestly why my sister was like, we should try to make some of our own. And that's honestly what we ended up doing. And we found a nice recipe online that was really good, and we've been using it ever since.
This is very similar also. Near Easter time, Italians make a bunch of different kind of pies. They do a ricotta pie, they do a cream pie, they do a rice pie, which is actually this here inside a crust. They do a wheat pie. So Pete and I were talking, and I was saying that some people will eat this with do the same thing, but with other grains like barley or farro, or so it doesn't always have to be rice. Mm-hmm. This is getting thicker by the minute. Mm-hmm. One of the things I was thinking about, because I make cream pies for Easter time, is it might be we're using 1% milk, mm-hmm. and when I do the cream pie, you have to use whole milk because it does have more of the fat from the milk in there. So that could be why it's taking a little bit longer. I'm putting in just one little box of raisins, letting them get soft.
Yep. And at this point, if you wanted to, you could take a little bit of the liquid from the pudding here and add it to the egg.
It's not enough.
We've already cracked open our egg over here, as you can see over there. And that process of taking something that's a wee bit warm and adding to something is called tempering. And you might want to do some tempering of the egg so you don't end up with scrambled egg.
Right.
So yeah, at this point we're just gonna scramble the egg. Heck, if you wanted to, you could add a little bit of this and then a little bit of the milk, and then just like, yeah, and you just want to add a little bit, just so you don't get it scrambled. Because some people, if you add it right directly to it, it will.
Okay, so this is pretty thick now, as you can see. So we're going to be adding the rest of the milk, and I'm going to add a little bit of our milk here too, to this, and mix it. And so we're going to add this, the rest of that little bit of milk, give it a good stir.
Your egg. Add the egg. And you're going to cook this for just 2 more minutes until the egg is well incorporated. And you don't want to end up with scrambled eggs here. So.
Right. So that incorporated very nicely, see?
Yep.
You got a little tinge of yellow from the egg, the whole egg. We were also talking, Pete and I, about you could put orange zest in here. So you know it's limitless.
Right.
Of what you can do flavoring wise or even grain wise. So we're going to cook this for 2 minutes.
For 1 more minute.
And this is the part where you want to keep stirring, because you don't want it to set on the bottom and burn. This is when I do my cream pie too. I always say that we have to have somebody in here because you're mixing for like, I don't know, 20 minutes. Over a double boiler. And you don't want that cream to burn. This thickened up very, very nicely. Look at it. Great.
Alright, 2 minutes is up.
Okay.
Shut it off, take it off the heat. Now at this point, we're going to add ourselves our butter and the vanilla.
So I'm putting the tablespoon of butter first. We're gonna mix that around. That gives it the shine.
And then one thing I've learned through making things is if you're gonna add vanilla to something hot, always add it at the very end, because that helps it keep its vanilla flavor. Otherwise, you're just kind of cooking it out, and you don't get as much vanilla as you would.
So I'm going to put a nice heaping teaspoon. You can never have enough vanilla.
No, vanilla's great. And now this is a preference. Of course,
Oh, I wish you had smell-o-vision.
Yeah, it smells great. But what was it? So the raisins are optional. If you don't want to add raisins, don't add raisins. And then what we're going to do for this last step is optional too. We're going to add a little bit of cinnamon, a pinch of cinnamon, and a pinch of nutmeg.
And literally, just a pinch.
This is the cinnamon. And then we're going to add just a smidge of nutmeg, because if you a little bit of nutmeg goes a long way, so you don't want to add too much. And we're just gonna add this in, and you can literally eat it right now. Or I like to let it cool. It's probably because I ate it from the store and it was refrigerated and it was cool. But I'll try it warm. We'll try it warm. And there we go. There's the 15 minutes. We're up. Very nice. So yeah, that is our rice pudding. Doesn't it look really good? You can smell the cinnamon and the vanilla. So let's plate it up and let's eat it up. All right, here is our rice pudding. Look at how beautiful it looks. We put a little garnish of cinnamon. I'm just gonna mix it in a little bit, and I'm gonna try it.
I really like the spoon.
With the raisins.
Delicious.
Mmm. You know what? It isn't bad warm. Usually I eat it cold, but this is actually very good.
Yeah.
Mmm. It's good. It's creamy. It's sweet. It's got the cinnamon. It's got the raisins. It's all good. So, I'm taking out a bite because it's so good. I've been Pete, our Kenshin1913, along with
Mom.
There's been another Cooking with Kenshin1913.
Enjoy and happy eating.